My Bionicle obsession was short-lived. I got semi-interested in 2005, fell completely in 2006 while aggressively hunting down story content from the previous years, and then I started to fall off the wagon aside from the books, promo videos, and one or two toys. Isn't that the reason I made a marathon out of a dumb idea like this? Because I love Bionicle? Well, we're starting to lose me, which is probably a bad omen for the rest of the marathon.
Much like 2006, the first half of the year was dedicated to the villains, while the new iterations of the Toa came halfway through. This year's baddies were the Baraki, who were apparently banished warlords corrupted by the waters of Marinui. It's some real high fantasy backstory shit, and they all shoot squids out of their crossbows like Oddworld.
This was a weird year, wasn't it? Full research and context only entangles you in the lore.
The first game, creatively titled Baraki, is a platformer, where you only get to choose between 3 of the Baraki, and none of them are the ones I like. I like the blue guy. Anyway, it's a basic get to the end of the level affair. Kill the Matorn in your way by shooting them with a squid, of which you can only hold one, but it stays if you miss or hit, so you can pick it back up. There's also the option to punch, which is hilarious because they fucking explode like an episode of One Punch Man, but it's unsafe, and you always have ammo anyway. There's a lot of momentum in your movement too, which makes mid-air stuff hard, but it's whatever, I guess. It's boring. Like scuba diving, discovering Atlantis and only getting $1,000 for it.
Does anyone get that?
That's the only game where you play as the Baraki. There's less focus on the villains this time around because, let's face it, nowhere near as interesting as the Baraka. But everything else plays up how dangerous they are. That's where Creeps from the Deep fits in. A first-person game where you're running from an impending threat, no way to defend yourself. This is the purest survival horror. Resident Evil 7 should take more cues from this. Konami removed PT because it couldn't compare. This one's great because the only gameplay is Metal Gear Rising's Blade mode. Except I suck at this one. You know what I wasn't expecting to see ripped off in this marathon? Balloon Fight. But Sea Survival did it. I guess I shouldn't be surprised Bionicle Addict Media was a 3D World Runner clone, but that was 6 years ago. 4 months. Anyway, it plays like Balloon Fight. Land on top of one of the enemies and then touch them once they're downed. The hit detection's pretty bad. I've got a few side kills, but it's in your favor, so I won't bother complaining. The camera's super zoomed in, so you never have a full view of the stage, which means you can be ambushed by a swarm of bad guys. It happened at the beginning of one of my levels, like one of those animations where Mega Man fights every robot master at once. Once the Toa Mahi were introduced, the final series of games were released, I assume weekly or something. Each of them puts you in control of a different Toa with some different gameplay style. I could theoretically run through all of them in a marathon paragraph, but this video would be way too short if I did that, so we can go a little more in depth. But just as a combined note, all of these games share a soundtrack, and it's pretty rockin'. Command Toa Hyuki is Buster Brothers, thanks to ProJared for showing me that game exists. There's power-ups that increase your horizontal speed, harpoon speed, and a chain I have no idea what it does. But you lose them all if you get hit. The objective is to pop all falling bubbles until the... Is it a bullet? I'm gonna say it's a bullet falls. Survive 6 levels to win. Command Toa Holly, I'm sure it's a copy of some other game, but all I can think of is Utapau Chase from the Revenge of the Sith plug-and-play game. Go fast along a track to catch up to a Baraki and slap the shit out of it. Sometimes you can smack them into a wall and they die that way. There's a bunch of other obstacles. It says hitting them deducts points, but the score doesn't go down. Command Toa Matoro is like a puzzle platformer. Get to the end of the stage, push stones to create a path, and don't block yourself. I'm a smart guy, this should be my stuff, but I suck. This does not bode well when I'm playing Catherine now. The problem is Matoro's abilities aren't very well defined. He can jump, but the height or distance never feels consistent or easy to guess. One of the stages even starts with this giant wall that I'm still not sure how to clear, even after I did. Command Toa Kongu is a zero-gravity game where you have to use thrusters to navigate a maze. It's surprisingly a lot more lenient about crashes than you'd expect. I scraped the walls a lot and still almost made it. These aren't even the kinds of games I'm good at, and this was the closest I came to beating one of them. My love for the Toa of Air shines through the deepest depths. Command Toa Nuparu has a bunch of enemies shooting the Toa of Earth in the center, and he needs to reflect them. If one of the shots hits an enemy, it'll stun them for a short time. Generally, moving the shield is fast and capable of blocking every shot, but sometimes it just isn't enough on later levels, so you'll take a few hits. And none of these games refill health between stages. Commander Toa Jawler feels like the most full-featured because Toa of Fire are always the most marketable, even though Matora was the main character of 2007. Anyway, a bunch of enemies want to break the wall behind you and you shoot them to scare them away. You can charge the shot, which not only makes it more powerful, but produces a small explosion when it hits. There are power-ups that fortify the wall, increase the explosion radius, and something else I don't know. And there are also temporary weapon powers, such as rapid fire or Kamehameha.
As a side note, is it weird that OpenOffice's dictionary recognizes Kamehameha as a word but not homunculus?
At the end lies the final challenge. First, you must complete the final level of each Toa's game, but it's easier because this one refills your health between each Toa. I still failed Congo's because it seemed more strict about hitting the walls this time. Each Toa that survives then shoots this rock tower, and I really don't know what's happening here. I can tell the shots only count if they hit these moving targets, and the objective is to destroy a certain amount, but I'm not sure how it calculates how much has to be done. So in the end, the Toa Mahri failed. Sure, it would be a shame if someone had to die to save them. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. I'm also a part of a Let's Play channel you can check out if we ever upload, or you can look at my Twitter account where I've posted some strange things. I'm probably working on the next video now, so stay tuned.